They mean black. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's just another way to say thug or something else, right? I can tell you what woke means.
Please.
It just means being aware, being in alignment with nature. Because if you're in alignment with that, you're aware of everything that's going on.
Defining woke, because it's come up a couple times, and I just want to make sure we're all on the same page.
This is going to be one of those moments that goes viral. I mean, woke is something that's very hard to define, and we've spent an entire chapter defining it. It is sort of the understanding that we need to totally reimagine and redo society in order to create hierarchies of oppression. It's hard to explain in a 15-second soundbite.
Yeah, look, your time.
Bethany, no. That was just as embarrassing as you thought it was. For the last time, wokeness denotes a consciousness of the world around you. Think awake, not victimization or whatever it is you were trying to say. But this does show conservatives have so perverted the word that they can't even define it on their own terms. And I am loving it. Tell me more.
We reject woke ideology. We will never, ever surrender to the woke mob. Florida is where woke goes to die.
Last April, Ron DeSantis signed the Stop Woke Act, which prohibits education that makes people feel anguish on the account of race, color, sex, or national origin. In other words, it's basically illegal now in Florida to make white people feel bad about slavery.
You can't handle the truth!
Do you want to know what it is?
And after hours of debate late last night, a bill that would ban diversity, equity, and inclusion programs at public universities is now one step closer to becoming a law. The House initially passed a bill that restricts how the state's public universities, like UT, can promote diversity among students, faculty, and staff. It would require the schools to close their diversity, equity, and inclusion offices, which were put into place to boost faculty diversity and help students from all backgrounds succeed.
What is the absence of diversity? The absence of diversity is white supremacy. The absence of equity is inequality. The absence of inclusion is segregation. This legislation cuts our legs from underneath us and blames us for not standing taller.
But wait, there's more.
Advocates are sounding the alarm about a set of measures that they say target teaching and writing related to LGBTQ issues, race, and more broadly, freedom of speech. Around the country, efforts to ban specific books or even whole categories of books are on the rise.
In America, a free speech advocacy group, reports that since January 2021, 174 education-focused legislative bills were introduced in 40 states that target content in a variety of ways. 162 of those target K through 12 education. And it's spreading to public universities, with bills explicitly directed at higher education.
You know what surprised me most is that I felt no connection with Black Americans, and that surprised me. Now I know at the time I didn't. You know, I felt no connections with Black Americans because you know what? Black Americans were woke. You know, Black Americans had looked at their oppressor in the face. They had tunnel vision. They knew what was bringing them down. In Africa, we don't have tunnel vision. We don't know what is oppressing us. Because you know what? Because slavery just changed. It didn't go away. It just changed. So most people in Africa, we feel oppressed. We don't know what is oppressing us, you see. People in Africa cannot afford to buy land anymore. Do you know why? Because slavery never ended. It still carries on. You know, they dump all their toxic waste all over Africa. People cannot farm their land anymore. Do you know? And you know what? Like, here's a fact. 3/4 of the people in Africa are under the age of 30. 3/4 of the people in Africa are under the age of 30. Majority of people in Africa have never heard of slave trade. Majority of people in Africa have never heard of colonialism. Majority of people in Africa only ever see white people when they're coming to save us.